Alright, imagine this. You're scrolling through your phone. Dozens of notifications. Group chats buzzing. Posts, likes, comments. It seems like the whole world is talking. And yet, you feel alone. You're not imagining it. In fact, more people today are reporting feelings of loneliness and isolation than at any other time in modern history. Despite living in a hyper-connected world, where we can message someone across the globe in seconds, video chat from anywhere, and share every detail of our lives online, loneliness has quietly become one of the defining emotional challenges of our time. But how did we get here? Why is it that in a time when we've never been more connected, so many of us feel completely alone? A hidden epidemic. In 2018, the UK appointed a minister for loneliness. Japan followed with a similar move. The US Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health crisis. And studies show that chronic loneliness can have the same health effects as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a silent killer. It increases the risk of heart disease, dementia, anxiety, depression, and even early death. But here's the thing, it didn't just appear overnight. A shift in how we live. Think back 50, 100 years ago. Communities were more tightly knit. Families often lived close to each other. Neighbors knew one another by name. People gathered at churches, community centers, front porches, and dinner tables. Today, we live in high-rise apartments where we might never meet the person next door. We work remotely or in isolated cubicles. Families are scattered across cities, states, even continents. And many people, especially in urban areas, are living completely alone. Modern living has restructured our social fabric, and not always for the better. Technology, the double-edged sword. Now let's talk about the big elephant in the room, technology. At first glance, social media and digital communication tools seem like solutions to loneliness. And in some ways, they are. You can stay in touch with family abroad, find niche communities, reconnect with old friends. But here's the catch. What we're often getting isn't connection, it's a simulation of connection. We scroll through curated highlight reels of other people's lives and compare them to our unfiltered reality. We send emojis instead of emotions. We rack up likes and comments, but miss out on eye contact and genuine presence. And over time, that digital distance becomes emotional distance. We mistake engagement for intimacy, presence for connection. But our brains? They know the difference. The decline of shared spaces. Churches, libraries, community centers, local clubs, they used to be social anchors. Places where people of all ages and backgrounds came together. But many of these spaces have declined. Either they've been defunded, replaced, or lost relevance in the digital age. We've traded physical community for digital convenience, but at a cost. And then there's work. In the gig economy and remote work culture, more people are freelancing, working from home, or juggling multiple part-time roles. While that can offer flexibility, it also means fewer chances for workplace friendships or daily casual interactions, the kind that used to stitch together our social worlds. Individualism versus belonging. Culturally, especially in Western societies, individualism is king. From a young age, we're told to be independent, self-sufficient, to chase personal success. But while individualism can empower, it can also isolate. We move away from our families, our hometowns, our support systems, all in the name of growth. But sometimes, in reaching for independence, we lose our sense of belonging. And belonging, as it turns out, isn't optional. It's a basic human need, just like food or water. Who's most affected? You might assume loneliness only hits the elderly, and yes, they're deeply impacted. But here's the twist. Gen Z and millennials are reporting the highest levels of loneliness ever recorded. Young adults, teens, even kids, many are struggling with a lack of meaningful connection. For some, their friends exist only in digital spaces. For others, social anxiety or mental health issues keep them from engaging at all. And when everyone's pretending to be fine online, it gets harder to admit you're not. The role of capitalism and consumerism. Let's not ignore the economic pressures that isolate us. Many people are working multiple jobs or grinding through side hustles just to stay afloat. Time once spent with family, friends, or in community is now swallowed by survival. And in a world that equates busyness with worth, taking time to connect can feel like slacking off. Even our attempts to cope, therapy apps, self-help books, retail therapy, often come with a price tag. Loneliness has become a market. Can we fix it? Here's the good news. We can absolutely build our way out of loneliness, but it takes awareness and intention. Start small. Reach out. Not just to friends, but to acquaintances. That person you haven't spoken to in a while? Say hi. Create shared rituals. Weekly calls, group dinners, hobby nights, they matter more than you think. Put the phone down. Not always. But sometimes. Choose presence over passivity. Join local spaces. Volunteering, group fitness, art classes, anything that gets you out of your bubble. Talk about it. Loneliness thrives in silence. Breaking that silence is the first step to healing. Final thoughts. We live in an age where connection is just a tap away, yet somehow, we're starving for it. Loneliness has become the quiet epidemic of our time, not because we've failed as individuals, but because the world around us has shifted in ways we weren't prepared for. We've optimized for efficiency, productivity, independence, but in doing so, we've deprioritized something vital: community. Think about it. We measure success in followers, likes, and LinkedIn titles, but we rarely ask ourselves who we'd call in an emergency. We post stories for hundreds, but have no one to share silence with. We've created lives filled with noise and stimulation, but little meaningful connection. And here's the kicker: loneliness isn't just about being alone. You can feel isolated in a crowd, at a party, or even in a relationship. Because real connection isn't proximity, it's presence. But this isn't a hopeless story. Because every meaningful connection in history, every friendship, love, community, started the same way, with a moment of vulnerability. With someone reaching out first. With a real conversation. We can't rebuild the world overnight, but we can rebuild our own lives, one relationship at a time. Look up. Put the phone down. Say hello. Make eye contact. Ask deeper questions. Invite someone in. These aren't small acts, they're radical in today's world. And they matter more than we know. Because connection is what makes us human. It's what makes life worth living. And no matter how digital, distracted, or distant the world becomes, that truth will never change. So if you've been feeling lonely lately, here's your reminder. You are not broken. You are not alone. And you are absolutely not the only one feeling this way. Reach out. Someone is waiting. And hey, if you found this deep dive into the loneliness epidemic eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little connection right now. We've got more long-form explorations coming, unpacking the systems that shape our lives, the myths we live by, and the truths we tend to overlook. Stay curious. Stay kind. And I'll see you in the next one.